We talk about greatness, but what happens when a fundamental element of elite performance vanishes? Imagine a sprinter who can only jog the final 50 meters, or a master chef who loses their sense of smell right before service. For one grueling season, Dalton Barrow, an otherwise Gold Glove caliber outfielder, delivered the unthinkable, throws slower than the average high school varsity player, yet somehow, miraculously, remained indispensable.
Welcome, baseball fanatics, to 615 Al Dia Baseball, where we dive deep into the numerical anomalies that define the modern game, dissecting the anatomy of a broken arm and the statistical miracle that allowed Barrow to survive and even thrive while holding the record for the weakest cannon in MLB history. The data is stark, horrifying, and utterly unprecedented.
Before Barrow's 2025 campaign, the agreed-upon benchmark for a historically weak throwing arm amongst players who managed over 100 throws belonged to Corey Dickerson in 2021, clocking a seasonal average of 76.3 miles per hour. That figure felt safe, established, and reasonable for a late-career veteran never celebrated for his velocity. But Dalton Barrow didn't just break that record, he obliterated it, recording a catastrophic seasonal average velocity of 73.8 miles per hour. That's a 10-fold mile-per-hour drop from his prior season, with his maximum effort speed plummeting almost 15 miles per hour. "I track arm velocity religiously," commented Dr. Elena Ramirez, a renowned biomechanics specialist who tracks pitcher and thrower performance. Barrow's 2025 metrics put him statistically in the first percentile of all professional outfielders. We are talking about throws that look like they are fighting gravity from the moment they leave his hand. Throws that middle infielders have to walk toward just to cut off the second hop. The true drama unfolded on the field, manifesting in plays that Major League Baseball had simply forgotten existed. The greatest insult was the hustle double, a single turned into extra bases by sheer audacity, solely because the runner knew Barrow could not punish the mistake. We saw 3 separate instances where runners, knowing the lack of heat, pushed past first base with contemptuous ease, plays that, against any other elite defender, would result in immediate, punishing outs. Think about the high-leverage situation in extra innings, when Jacob Marcy hit a routine one-hopper to medium center field. Against the Dalton Barrow of 2024, Marcy settles for a single. Against the Barrow of 2025, Marcy turns the corner at first, slides headfirst into second, and puts the winning run in scoring position. The fact that the runner barely beat the soft, arcing throw only serves to highlight the razor-thin margin. The collective intelligence of the opposing dugouts was quick to catch on, and that awareness is brutally reflected in the underlying statistics. Barrow's defensive arm value, which had never dipped below a +2 in his career, cratered, falling all the way to a -2, a terrifying 4-run swing attributed directly to his lack of velocity. This decline wasn't just visible on balls hit deep, it destroyed his ability to execute fundamental defensive plays. Runners tagged up on shallow fly balls with impunity. We even witnessed a throw to third base that was arguably one of the worst throws executed by a Major League outfielder in the last decade. A slow, looping trickler that required the third baseman to abandon his position and walk forward to corral the ball on its third hop. It robbed him of all margin for error. Any bobble, any slight miscue in fielding the ball suddenly became a catastrophic advance for the runners, because even a quick, short throw from 40 feet away couldn't come in hot enough to matter. Now, many of you might raise the perfectly logical counterargument, the statistical paradox at the heart of this season. If his arm was functionally broken, how did Barrow still manage to post 6 fielding runs overall, despite only playing 550 innings in the field? Surely, a player with a 73-mile-per-hour arm should have been a complete defensive liability, forcing a shift to designated hitter or perhaps early retirement.
This is where the true genius of Dalton Barrow lies, and the argument that shifts our entire perspective. He was so defensively savvy that he effectively minimized the need for a strong throw, comments veteran scout Marcus Mack Chen, who tracked Barrow throughout the year. His first-step acceleration and his understanding of spray charts are arguably top 3 in the league.
He consistently beat the ball to the spot, cutting down angles and shaving fractions of a second off the entire play, purely compensating for the lack of heat. If 90% of the play is getting to the ball efficiently, Dalton was still batting 1,000. His throwing deficit only cost him runs when the situation required absolute cannon velocity. The margin for error was completely eliminated by the injury, but the rest of his game was so transcendent that it masked the flaw.
But here is the incredible emotional twist that changes Burrow's story from a narrative of physical failure to one of staggering courage and commitment. This wasn't merely a decline, a slow fade into weakness. This entire season, the record-breaking, historically slow 73.8 miles per hour season, was played after tearing his rotator cuff and undergoing major surgery. He didn't just play through pain, he played through a year of mandated functional rehabilitation.
The man wasn't struggling with a weak arm. He was proving he could be an elite major league fielder with a compromised recovering arm. That puts the no throws we saw, where he simply gave up on plays that in prior seasons he would have gunned to the plate, into a new context. He wasn't weak, he was following a rigorous recovery protocol that demanded he prioritize health over vanity. The fact that he could even maintain positive defensive value while being explicitly limited is perhaps the most impressive feat of his career. It wasn't weakness, it was an act of functional excellence. As Barrow himself was quoted saying near the end of the season, "Every throw felt like a negotiation with my body. I knew the speed wasn't there, but I had to prove that the glove, the brain, and the bat were still worth the roster spot."
This wasn't about setting records for slowness. It was about proving I could perform at the highest level without my most powerful tool. Now, with a healthy offseason of recovery finally behind him, the narrative shifts entirely. Burrow isn't climbing out of a performance hole. He's climbing back to the peak of his power. Imagine what the league will face in 2026 when the unparalleled glove and elite positioning are paired once again with a rejuvenated, high-octane arm. That is the story we will be watching. If you found this dive into the bizarre world of baseball data as compelling as we did, please take a moment to hit the like button, share this video with your baseball group chats, and subscribe to 615 Aldea Baseball for more analysis that you won't find anywhere else. And tell us in the comments below, do you think Dalton Barrow's 2025 season, played essentially on one arm, deserves to be recognized as one of the gutsiest defensive performances in recent MLB history? Let us know what you think.